Welcome back to the ICF Core Competencies series. I'm Brighton West, and I help coaches with video. And one of the great ways to become a masterful coach is to master the core competencies. So I'm bringing in mentor coaches from around the world to discuss the different competencies. We're on number 10, goal setting and planning. And I've got Rajat from India here. And Rajat, why don't you start out just by telling us the definition, kind of what is goal setting and planning mean in this competency?
Thank you, Brighton. Hi, everyone. My name is Rajat Garg. I'm based out of Mumbai, India. And as a mentor coach, often we talk about goal setting and planning under competencies. And the basic idea being that once the client has identified some of the actions, now we need to set goals against those actions and plan the whole piece with them in terms of what exactly will they do as part of that action. So how will they do it? What will they do? When will they do it? And what can come in between that piece as well from doing it. So just putting it the SMART goals, SMART pieces, and ensuring that the whole planning is aligned to the way they learn as well as it's connected to their world. It's not something out of their world which they might not do ever.
I want you to start out and tell me when you're watching a coach video or something and you're analyzing it, when someone's really got this down pat, what does that look like or what does that feel like?
So it's as if that the client and the coach are together in that moment. And it's a feeling of complete partnership between the coach and the client. And they're talking about every piece of it, from starting from saying, so how will you do it? When will you do it? What will you do as part of it? How will you know you have gotten it as well, right? So ensure the success measure is part of it. And don't just keep it to the level wherein it's just talking about the situation. Keep it to a larger level as well. Take it to their life as well, saying, where else could you utilize this? And you can see the client talking most of the time and leading most of the time instead of the coach leading it at times. So that would be a beautiful session in terms of goal setting and planning.
Okay, great. Well, I have a feeling I might know what the not as masterful session, but if someone's just starting out and they really aren't mastering this one, what does it look like when you see that?
We see a lot of people starting to analyze the action itself, and that's the biggest challenge that comes to them, is saying, this might not work, what the client is talking about. And that becomes a challenge because then they start leading the client into finding loopholes in their solution, right? And they start giving out tools which might not be related to the solution as well. So that is something which is big in terms of somebody doing it for the first time, the first few moments till the time they get used to getting the goal setting done.
Yeah, I could definitely see them leading the conversation and maybe creating the goals and the planning themselves and handing them over instead of that conversation helping someone, pulling it out of the client. Great, so let's go on to the difference between ACC, PCC, and MCC. Like, there's different expectations across the spectrum. So what can you tell me about the differences as someone gets to be a more advanced coach? What are you expecting from them as a mentor coach?
So for an ACC level coach, we are expecting them to be able to help the client just define the actions and the goals and the planning itself at a very base level. There's nothing deep about it. We're just going to ask the client says something, and we are okay with that, right? And we might even suggest tools which might not be important to this situation itself, right? So that's an ACC level client who's trying to help the client, as a coach. So a PCC level coach, on the other hand, would slightly move into co-creating with the client. They will partner with the client slightly more than an ACC level coach will. They will go slightly deeper into what's going to happen once you actually do this action. They'll have the next level started as well for the client and understand the mitigation plans and talk about some amount of accountability as well in it. And they don't typically provide tools, but they are more in terms of getting it out from the client, saying what kind of tools might help you in this situation, right? On the other hand, an MCC level coach will actually let the client lead it completely. They will not even be present in that session as a coach. They'll just let the client talk about everything. It's like a complete partnership in that moment where the client is thinking for themselves, figuring it out for themselves, and the coach is just somebody who's just present and ensuring that gets done. Right? It's a beautiful concept of partnership, and everything that is aligned is beyond just the situation. It can move into their larger life as well as a goal setting and planning. It can be about not just the doing part. It can be about the thinking part as well. It could be about the actual analyzing part as well, which they are doing as a client. And finally, it's about ensuring that everything that is getting done is as part of the learning style of the client.
Wonderful. I think I'm learning here, because I am not a coach, but I'm really learning through this series how it seems like the MCC coach keeps their mouth shut a lot more than the ACC coach. The ACC coach is much more involved, and the MCC, once they're just kind of experts at like just putting a little bit in and then having the client really create from that tiny little bit. So this has been a fascinating series for me. But thank you for presenting on number 10. And if folks are interested in getting a little mentor coaching from you, how can they reach you?
They can reach out to me from our website, www.coach2transformation.com, or they can write into me at rajat@coach2transformation.com.
Wonderful. Well, once again, thank you. And thank you for watching today. We are one step away from the final competency. And if you want to go ahead and skip right to that, you're going to find it up here. And if you want to start this series over from the beginning, maybe you popped in right here, head on down here and you'll see the whole thing, all 11 competencies from the beginning. I'll see you in the next video.